Hello friends, Coach Bob with you, and today we're going to be doing another Worship on Wheels. If you see things looking a little odd up here, that's because I just recently picked up this camera. It's a new Hero 9. I know that doesn't have anything to do with Worship on Wheels, but it is somewhat distracting to me to see that monitor up there. It's new to me. This is my first time actually using the camera. I will be using it on this mount up here. But anyway, I don't have the mod case for that camera in yet, so very interesting though. Boy, that's weird. Oh my goodness. But anyway, we're going to be doing a little Worship on Wheels here. Thank you for all of the support that you've shown this channel and you've shown me as things have unfolded in my life with the recent passing of my mother and all of the things. You guys are awesome, top notch, and I pray that God is blessing you big time from the top of your big old head to the bottom of your flat feet. I hope God is blessing you, man. He's blessing me, and life is really, really beautiful and good. I just want you to know that. You know, this week as I processed all of the things with my mother and started taking care of her estate and dealing with things, and as anyone who's ever been through anything like this, you know how complex it can be and how awkward it can feel, and it can feel very awkward. There's just a lot going on, and this is a time that it's easy to let division and things like that go on. So, and I'm just going to read this thing. It's just it's a very short verse, and it's going to tie right into what I'm talking about. It says this is Romans 12:18. It says, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live in peace with everyone. Man, that's a tall order. But what I was going to say is this. You know, around the death of someone, there's a lot of times families tear each other apart, right? Whether you're on the receiving end or what you consider on the short stick end, and it could be either one, or you may not be on either, right? It could be anything. But often this is when families' ugly colors come out, and this is when people tear each other apart. You know, I had a buddy of mine asking me, you know, hey man, you seem to be easy going, Bob, but you also seem to get things done. How do you get things done when you're doing things and things don't go your way, and people do divisive things, and then you don't hold a grudge? How do you do that? What does that look like, and where do I go to feel that way? Because what he was saying is that he had been wronged by a family member after the death of his father, and he was very upset. You know, I don't have it in me to forgive my brother. He's tried to reconcile with me a couple of times, and I just can't let it go. Chances are that relationship, and we talked about this, I asked him, well, how was the relationship before the death? How was the relationship with your father? And how was the relationship with your brother? And if you were to rate those two relationships, do you think the outcome would look a lot like what it did look like? Or do you think the outcome would look a lot different? And I told him, you've got to dig deep right now, and you've got to really be honest with yourself. Did your parents or your father do anything wrong by you, really? And he goes, not really in their death. No, they didn't. So what about your brother? Well, he did kind of do me wrong, and he went through a few details. I'm not going to go into any of that, but he goes, and I'm just having a hard time letting it go. So he asked me if I had any words of encouragement for him. And I said, short of backing up the clock. And what I mean by that, if we could back up the clock, right, you could change those relationships. And if you could change those relationships, you can alter the outcome of the entire thing. You can't alter the outcome as far as life and death are concerned. But you can certainly alter the outcome of a relationship and the smoothness and the love and the compassion within that relationship. Now understand, it's a two-way street, and you're not going to always be dealing with willing people, and you just have to be able to accept that. And that's when I pulled out Romans 12:18. I said, look, you have to let go of whatever your brother did. That doesn't mean that you're going to trust him to the extent that you did before. But to the extent where it concerns you, you have to do all things possible. You have to do everything possible. That if it's you, if it's something that you've done or something that you could do, that there is nothing standing in the way of that relationship moving forward as far as you are concerned. And he told me, I don't know that I can accept that, Bob. I just don't know. And I told him, I understand. I understand. Because guess what? It's not as easy as it looks. And he laughed and he told me, and I'm not bragging on me, please don't think that I am. He goes, but you make it look easy. Huge compliment. I'm going to tell you, I blushed. And I told him, my response was, it's not easy. It's not easy. And you're going to mess up. And you're going to fracture relationships. And you're going to hurt people's feelings. And you're going to cause great damage in other people's lives. Be slow to speak, slow to anger, and be quick in compassion. And try to heal that relationship when you mess up. And when the other person messes up, be quick to forgive. And as far as you're concerned, don't let that relationship suffer. Now the world is going to tell you that I'm full of it. Yep, that's what they're going to tell you. You got to stick it to them, man. You got to stick it to them. You got to get them back. You got to get revenge, man. You know. Maybe you do. I don't. I just don't. Not only do I not need it, I don't want it. You know what? I'm not God. And if the truth be known, really, you know, there's a song by Stephen Curtis Chapman. It goes like this. If the walls could speak of the times I've been weak, when everybody thought I was strong. Yeah. Then you know what? Later on he says, then they would know the truth all along. The truth is, anything that anyone has ever done to me that has wronged me, I probably thought about doing it to them or to somebody else. You know, you get mad and that old brain starts going, man, it starts twisting. You're going, I get them back, man. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. You lay it in bed, you plotting it, right? Man, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to say this, and then they're going to say that back, and I'm going to get them back, man. I'm going to get them. And then they're going to beg me for forgiveness. And nah. You know what? Take all that stuff, throw it out the window. You don't need that. That's a dark road. A dark road you don't want to go down. I look at the relationships in my lives, the ones that matter, which, by the way, is all of them. It's all of them. But they're not all equal. Obviously, the relationship I have with God is number one, and then with my wife. My wife. How many times have I hurt her feelings and said a coarse word to her? How many times has she said something to me that cut me to the bone? You know what? We're all guilty. We're all guilty of it. So as far as we're concerned, and that's Coach Vic and I, as far as we're concerned, let nothing, so long as you're a part of it. Let nothing that I'm doing stand in the way of that reconciliation. And she takes that mindset also, right? She would say the same thing. As far as there's anything that I could do, don't let. Do you see how that could work so beautifully? If you have two people that are both willing to accept all blame, both willing to forgive, both willing to love and reconcile, then you have what is called a true biblical relationship. That's what it looks like. Someone has to be the first one to reach out. And if you're not doing that, you're just looking like the other person. That's what you're doing. Sorry to break that news to you. You know, you're going to try to reach out to people, other people that are not going to accept it. You may have been the one that wronged someone, and now you're trying to reconcile. Well, then don't, as far as you're concerned, don't let anything that you're doing from this point forward get in the way of that reconciliation. And then if they've wronged you, don't let anything as far as you're doing get in the way of that reconciliation either. Because that, my friends, is what we're called to do, and that is world changing. Yes, it is. Well, there you have it. Another worship on wheels in the books. So go change that world, one relationship at a time. And know this, you, yes you, are loved, and so am I. And that is great news. We'll see you on the road real soon.